Hello everyone. Today I'm going to represent a critical reflection on the leadership, ethics, and advocacy. What I have learned uh, through the 9 weeks. So let's start with first week. In the first week, the key difference between leadership and management was introduced. Identify the corners, and I had around the differences between being a manager and being a leader. In being a manager, it's about helping to maintaining a system that operates actively and is efficient, and it leading it about developing a vision for change. This is the perspective that I personally had of the director at first. The leader as paperwork handler, I now realize that being effective as an ECE leader means offering direction to the pedagogical direction, yet working with the nuts and bolts of administration. In the second week, I find that trying periods in this week to be difficult for me and for my past unease at politics, as it is termed in early childhood. I now appreciate that there are regulations, for example, the Education and Care Service National Law, which are not only the scaffolding for quality, but they actually form part of quality. If I identify these, then I can truly support and promote the interests of the victim, not the aggression. The EYLF V2 Australian Government 2022 is one document of significance that has risen in the guidance and development of pedagogy. What I knew then was that a wrong approach by the leader was to not act on the policy. I turn the regulation into the real day-to-day activities for others is important for effective leaders. In week three, initially the NQS SEQA 2025 looked like too much trouble, but the creation of the picture family guide was a convenience tool for the workshop. I then realized that I don't need to be afraid of the new NQS. I need to reflect on it. The assessment and rating process is now identified as a fair and valid external perspective of our practice and not a punitive process as before. I want to say to you again, even it's more of a compliance exercise than anything. A leader must make it visible in every team, conversation, documents, etc. Therefore, making it attainable um, and achievable for all of the team. In the week 4, the message of week 4 is collaboration is not a passive, it is an active process. I felt I got a shout for being in a position to relate to students well, but at the same time, I realized I need to develop the skills to have enough conversations. They were guided by the ECA Code of Ethics 2016 and the leadership principle of the EYLF SEQA 2024A. I learned that there was a mutual leadership in which both people take part and especially honored the opinions and suggestions of family. Although barriers exist, for example, time and culture, they can be overcome by a co-designed mode of problem solving. So moving on of week 5, the communication style quiz revealed that I like to be analytical. My method of communicating might be degraded as detached. I came to understand that this could be a challenge to meeting families for young children and a need to develop my listening abilities so that I will be more expressive and sensitive. All of the action of leadership travel on the back of the vehicle of effective communication. I have to find my voice. When I'm talking on behalf of a politician, so just taking on behalf of the kid. The workshop brainstorming concluded that at times assuming understanding is risky. A vital character trait of the leader are understanding and testing understanding. So week 6 is educational and pedagogical leadership, and this week has been the week of discovery and uncovering in what concern education, visited areas of dimensions of knowledge Professionalism, relationship, and reflection. Regularly, my pedagogical leadership included me in believing that I was the expert in curriculum. I guess I now realize it's more about to create culture of inquiry. This has to be a linking between leader and leader. This is the challenge, right? Challenge or challenging. The primary process of my strength is to reflect abstractly, but I have to cultivate some specific skills to be able to communicate new ideas to those who don't have them or who are resident. So, week 7 is about management and governance in ECE. It added to the definition of the difference between governments, the committee, and management, the director, and leadership, pedagogical influence. From the case study, I was able to see both the educator and the board's views about the family and also observe the family view and how they differ from the viewpoints of the educator and board. Nolan and Mola draw attention on the importance of professional learning being embedded within these contexts. I don't feel I'm confident in governance, an area for important. The same principles are applied to the ECA codes of ethics. However, ethical questions start to clarify themselves when I think about children's rights and professional attitudes, particularly with respect to what make it convenient. Week 8 is about leading for change, leading change. It's not easy. The situation of change is a highly emotional one. I used to not have any path that I follow for the 8 step, but Coter's 8 step provide me with one. Found resistance in case where communication did not occur, change was negative. I will apply the Kotter model in future as a leader, such as change of enrollment procedures, etc. And fundamentally, the ECA Code of Ethics, ECA 2016, promotes me to base everything I do for change on children's right. Administrative change are not a justification for change. It must be to improve outcomes. This change one's perspective about resistance and make it sources for learning. So this is the reflection for challenges, success and lesson. Rather, the primary challenge was for teacher to feel that this is not my responsibility upon reading through the unit reading it particularly by Douglas 2019, I realized that it was no longer normal to have nothing to do with these areas. I am on the biggest success that I have had is being able to realize that as a person I build relationship in a way that's strength for me as a leader. The main thing that has been learned and others have said the same thing is that leadership is not a job but a way of doing things, a way of communicating, that is doing things ethically, a way of distributing, that is doing this responsibility. This seems obvious to me now. If I don't say anything when I'm supposed to be in a leadership position, then my chances are lost. So the next slide is reflection change in my thinking about leadership. Before this unit, I held a hierarchical view of the role of a director with regarding to how he or she treats the members of the staff. I have seen a whole of new in the headlights. Wanyaki argued that an ethical stance and practices can be expressed in a leadership role. The changes that have to happen are quite a few, and most important is that time for them to learn how to do their own advocacy. Today, I recognize policy engagement as essential for children protection. It was once dirty, but I am now becoming a classroom teacher to support all things quality and service outside the classroom by teaching others to do the same. Reflection areas for future professional growth. I need to build specific professional skills over governance and financial management so I can participate in stimulating discussions at committees. In my future professional aspirations, will seek mentor professional development in the areas. Secondly, the sitting and discussion of difficult conversation for a purpose of change in practice needs to be conscientious effort, and the ECA code of ethics my blueprint to work through the conversation. Lastly, I will take care to adhere to quarter 8 step to change when I am initiating any change I lead, taking care to first create a coalition to move from being a responsible part of the team towards being an ethical change maker proactively in ECE. So that was my presentation and that is my reference list. Thank you. Have a good one.